What's up, guys? Welcome back to Among the Fence, my YouTube channel where I do music reviews. My name is Aaron, and today we're going to be checking out the new album Pain Remains by the band Lorna Shore. Pain Remains is the fourth studio album since the band formed in 2010, and it's their first LP with their new vocalist Will Ramos, after their longtime vocalist Tom Barber announced he was going to be leaving in 2018 after performing on their first two albums, Psalms in 2015 and Flesh Coffin in 2017. The band announced that CJ McCreery would be taking over for their 2020 album, Immortal, and this would end pretty horribly in 2019 as sexual allegations and stuff about mental abuse would arise against him from several women, and more stuff that continued to come out just showed that he was kind of a disgusting person, even from past bandmates saying that he just wasn't that great of a guy. And of course, Lorna Shore announced that he was no longer a part of the band within about a week of all this stuff coming out. When things looked the darkest for the band, that is when Will Ramos came in like a shining star. He covered the vocals for their European tour, and then they released a single, To the Hellfire, in 2021, announcing Will Ramos as their permanent vocalist, and everybody, they just lost their minds. And then they released the EP, And I Return to Nothingness, just a few months later, delivering the goods. And I just really hope that they don't kind of fall into a rut of trying to imitate that success, that awe, and that just thrill of what Will Ramos brought to the band, because they are kind of a symphonic death metal kind of band, so they can you have the tendency of kind of trying to do the same thing over and over and over again, trying to capture that success that the first single brought to it. So I hope that they don't do that. I hope they experiment, try new things, go in different directions, just really see what the band can do, because I feel like they can do a lot. And fair warning, this review is going to be kind of long because this is a concept album. I'm going to be diving into the concept as well as the music, because I feel like we need to flesh this whole thing out to really understand what it is, what this thing's about, really grasp the story that they're trying to give us. The album opens up with the song Welcome Back, Oh Sleeping Dreamer, and it starts out really theatrical and epic in the intro, then explodes with blast beats, orchestration, and a yell. The rhythm is absolutely sick, and the first breakdown is pretty gnarly with really low vocals, and it constantly builds up throughout the song into another breakdown, and it just has an incredible variety of different vocal techniques being used. This song is the narration of somebody falling asleep, falling into a dream, and it's about like the human psyche. It's like this person falls into a place that feels familiar, but at the same time it really isn't, and it's kind of a lucid dream. Into the Earth sees the main character realize that he's dreaming, and he's aware of it, and he's able to control and basically manipulate everything in this dream world that he's in. And it comes in with some pretty insane drum work. It sounds inhuman with really low vocals to match. The pre-chorus has a cool guitar riff to it, and the chorus has some snarly vocals that really takes off in the post-chorus breakdown kind of thing. The verse also has similar music to it, but the distorted vocals, and it ends with a symphony. The second chorus has a lot of orchestration, making it a lot more epic. The guitar solo is fantastic. It worked really well. And the third chorus is basically completely different. And the outro is super heavy. This song is basically just constantly changing and going through different transitions. Then we have the song Sun Eater, which the main character basically sees himself as God, and he talks about all the things that he wants to do that has never been done before. Like Icarus wasn't allowed to touch the sun. He never made it. So he went and touched the sun, and he's basically creating this whole world around him. And it has this choir section in the intro that says, Lord have mercy, in Greek. And the horn section kind of stays around, but it's joined by blast beats and vocals. And the riff in the verse is very sick and dynamic. It all escalates into the chorus with a little bit more help from some powerful vocals. The pre-chorus makes this section, like the bridge section between the verse and the chorus, it combines it so well. And the breakdown is heavy as balls, but it's not very open like you would expect. The guitar solo is epic, and you just have this feeling of hopefulness that's kind of present throughout this entire song. And then the second breakdown is basically the sledgehammer that you would expect to find in a Lorna Shore song. Then we have the song Cursed to Die, which has a soaring intro. The drums sound fantastic, and the vocals have a different tone to them that I really enjoyed. The chorus is perfect. The lyrics are phenomenal, and the emotion from the music just hits so hard, and the breakdown turns the orchestration down. It turns the brutality up with probably the lowest guttural vocals in this genre, and everything about this song is just so inspiring, especially the guitar solo, as the main character is starting to realize that he has needs within this world. So he starts creating different stuff, and he starts creating people within his image and trying to like not be so lonely, and he's trying to fulfill all this stuff that he needs. And he kind of sits back and he starts to wonder if he's really being fulfilled at all. Soulless existence sees the main character basically realizing that he's God, especially in his own world. And he realizes that he's done so much. He's created all this stuff and he's achieved a lot, but he still isn't happy. And this emptiness is basically consumed his entire world that he's created. He feels really lost and insignificant. He feels like nobody will ever find him or know him. Like, out of all these people that he created, no one's going to really understand him or get him or really know him. And the vocals in the intro really portray this feebleness very well. The chorus section is really powerful from the atmosphere and the lyrics, and the breakdown around the 2.5 minute mark is extremely groovy. It really gets your head bobbing if you're not already standing up thrashing around, and then it hits again around the 4-minute mark just before the solo. And the outro is basically peak emotion and peak desperation in this song. I'm going to skip ahead to the song Wrath now, because technically, in terms of the story, it comes between Soulless existence and Apotheosis, but sonically they said that it flows better afterwards, so they just kind of placed it there. It's about the main character wanting to destroy his world of sadness, and he wants to burn it down. And the lyrics literally say that he wants to douse the world in kerosene, and the guitar riff in the verse is kind of all over the place. It feels very frantic and very angry. The chorus has a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of layers to it, keeping you guessing on where it's going to go next. The flow of the song definitely does feel better in the order of the album, but I like it more to listen to it in the order that the story is supposed to go. So I highly recommend you try that as well. I'm sure a lot of you guys have listened to this album all the way through a couple times, but just piece Wrath in between there. Listen to it before you listen to Apotheosis, and just think about the story. And I personally, I think it even flows pretty well like that too. And I don't know, I feel like the end of the song with a really heavy outro, it flows really well into Apotheosis, where now we see the main character start to find a little bit of hope. Like, there's a light at the end of this tunnel where everything's going to be okay for him. And it's really epic with a choir, and it's got like this kind of doom sound instrumentation in the intro. I love the long drawn out vocal delivery with the really quick riff and the drums, and he's kind of like grasping for this hope. It's so desperate. He really expresses just how much this place has hurt him, how much damage has been done to him. And the breakdown is brutal with animal-like vocals again, and the outro really, it brings that doom riff back, and it brings it around full circle. And I really enjoy just all the lyrics in this song. The storytelling is fantastic. It just, like, you see him just so low, and the fact that now he's found hope, I mean, you can really feel it. I mean, you really feel that yearning for it, like he's begging this person or this thing or whatever it is, just this hope to help him. Then we have the title track song, or at least the first part of the title track song, The Pain Remains One, Dancing Like Flames, where guitarist Adam said that this song is about pain, and especially through loss, and it works really well musically for the theme of what's going on. As the main character, he starts to fall in love with someone in this world and in his dreams, but he's realizing that none of this is real. It's like when you fall asleep, and it's kind of weird. You kind of fall in love with somebody in your dream. You build this world around them, and then you wake up into reality and you realize that it wasn't real, and now you're just kind of sad. And the verse brings the heat, and it kind of dips down going into the chorus, which is really epic thanks to the cadence of the song mixed with the strings, and it keeps growing and building upon itself. The post-chorus has a quick riff to it, and the solo is it just has a beautiful transition. It flows so well. I'm not a huge fan of solos and stuff within like deathcore and metalcore, but they're doing it so well. And the bridge has whisper clean vocals that really builds up the intensity. And I feel like this whole song, these next 3 songs actually could basically be an EP all within themselves. Just the way they flow and just how theatrical it is, especially when we go into the second part of Pain Remains. After all I've done, I'll disappear, where he's now at the end of his world. It's kind of fading away. Like he refers to it as a ghost in the breeze. It's like a fading memory. And he sees that all of this is now pointless. Like everything he's done, it's pointless. It's not real. And he wants to escape it so bad. And not only that, but he wants to end himself, if that's a means to end everything else. And it's got big, huge guitar chords in the intro that sound fantastic. The refrain after the verse really, really brings out the riff that sounds like it's all over the place, especially all over the guitar neck, in fact. And the pre-chorus is really powerful thanks to layered vocals before an epic chorus. And now we have the closing track, Pain Remains 3, A Sea of Fire. He is now angry and he wants to burn his world down and leave it behind. And this is kind of based on the idea that God has left us behind, that he's grown tired, bored, sad, and there's just nothing left for him here. So now he's left and he went back to the reality which he came from, or he went on somewhere else to do something else. And it's kind of a bittersweet ending. It's almost like, I don't know, if you've ever had like a passion project, something you were working on, something you were really passionate about. Maybe you were going to school for arts or music or something like that. And you start to realize that this thing that you're working on is actually holding you back from being successful somewhere else. So you just, it hurts. It really hurts, but you got to let it go. It's almost like a relationship that isn't good for you. It might not be like abusive or anything, but you guys just aren't really meant for each other. And it's really hard for you to just admit that to yourself. Well, in this song, he is admitting it so much. He even refers to this world and all these people in it as shackles that are holding him back. And it's got a choir in the intro with tribal-like drums. The music escalates really quickly as the pre-chorus says that he wants to destroy himself along with this miserable world. He wants to leave it behind, and there's just a lot of helplessness in the chorus. And the imagery from the lyrics in the song are absolutely epic. The bridge is really mellow as he's very vulnerable about his feelings towards this place. And the breakdown is heavy as it goes right back into being epic with the chorus and the outro. And it's a fantastic closing track. It finishes off the story nicely. You don't feel like a lot of concept albums kind of leave you hanging a little bit, where you're like left scratching your head. It just kind of, I don't know, it leaves you at a cliff and you're just wondering what the heck, like what's going to happen next. But in this, the story is complete. Now, I gotta say, I am a sucker for concept albums, and I love how real the storytelling is in this. Like, every single song is another piece to the puzzle. There's no, like, random song about, I don't know, as somebody who did Will Ramos wrong, and now he's mad at them, and he's gonna sing about how much he hates them now, and then it goes right back into the story. Like, sometimes concept albums can kind of do that, and I don't know, I'm not really about that. I want the concept album to tell I want it to stick to the story. I want every song to be a progression of that. And they do that so well. Even though it's not in complete order, they do throw Wrath in kind of a different place, but it makes sense to them. And honestly, if you're listening to it, it still kind of makes sense in order of this thing, is how he gets angry throughout the story. And I mean, it's just everything in it fits. The music fits, the lyrics, everything. It's so perfect. When anger is felt in the instrumentation, in times of frustration where the lyrics and he wants to burn everything down, it just works so well. Even when there's hope in the song Apotheosis, you feel that in the music. It feels so hopeful. It feels very bright. It feels kind of feathery in a way, and you get this sense of happiness. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with just the orchestration too. And of course, Will Ramos, I mean, he does what he does. I used to put Ben Dor on a pedestal, and I mean, I still love that guy, but Will Ramos is just absolutely insane. Not even in an overhyped way, because there's just a lot of stuff on Will Ramos. It's just, And there's a lot. Like, they put a camera down his throat to see what his vocal cords do, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's cool, you know, because we've never seen that before, but we've heard guttural growls before. I mean, why are we overhyping Will Ramos in this kind of sense? But I'm not even on the jerk circle thing of Lorna Shore is the greatest band in the whole world now, but I gotta give them credit. This album is just fantastic. And hearing Will Ramos and all these guys now write a full-length album together, I mean, it just enforces just how great they are for that even more. The only issue I really had with this album, which I think a lot of people don't like Lorna Shore for, is the orchestration. I feel like it can be a little overdone at times. Like, they kind of fall back on it. They rely on it just a little bit too much. It works really well for them, especially for me. But I mean, sometimes you kind of feel like you're listening to the same orchestration, just with different music played over it every single time. And also all the intros, all the songs can kind of feel the same in that sense. And I think that is due to the orchestration. But again, like I said, to me, it's not really like the end of the world. It doesn't really hurt this album to me. And it isn't really a drawback. I could just see a couple people kind of hating on it for that reason. So with all that said, I gotta give Pain Remains by Lorna Shore a 9.5 out of 10. I feel like this album might be kind of polarizing, so I want to know what you guys think. Leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of Pain Remains. Let me know what you would rate it. Let me know what your favorite song is. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to give it a like. If you enjoyed what you see here, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon. If you want to help support me and my channel, I just appreciate it so much. It's just so much more than you guys could ever imagine. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night, whenever you happen to be watching this. And I will talk to you guys next time. I was